Why don't we learn from the mistakes of our ancestors? Why does humankind find itself bound in a cycle of bloodshed and enslavement? Predatory elites have always rationalized their oppression by claiming that they are superior and have the divine right to rule, when all they really are is a gaggle of ruthless psychopaths, parasitically feeding on the host population until their cancerous movement causes the collapse of the host. There have been thousands of tyrannical governments in history, and less than 10 that can truly be called free. In the 20th century alone, over 150 million people were murdered at the hands of the state.
The Fulton Mall? Oh, I don't shop there, if that's what you're asking.
I think it's a really weird space, and I don't know how to interact with it, and I think they should just make it go away.
The Fulton Mall? Oh, I don't shop there, if that's what you're asking.
I think it's a really weird space, and I don't know how to interact with it, and I think they should just make it go away. I think it's a really weird space, and I don't know how to interact with it, and I think they should just make it go away. I think it's a really weird space, and I don't know how to interact with it, and I think they should just make it go away.
We were here when nobody wanted to be here.
I spent 20 years to build up this business, and now I have to move. Then I might lose all the customers.
Some people have had roots here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So what do we tell them? Oh, well, you don't matter because this new person who's been here for 6 months has enough money to say you should be gone?
This is my home. I've raised my children. I don't want to leave right now.
I don't want to leave right now. Why I gotta leave? Because they tell me to. That's not right.
Depopulation should be the highest priority of foreign policy towards the Third World. Henry Kissinger, 1974.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world. Now, none of this may succeed this time, but this to me is sort of the outline by which someday, in the next few years, a solution will emerge.
Where does this mindset come from? Why do the elites kill the largest masses of people when no one is resisting them, when they've already attained total control? What ideology drives the elite psychopath?
Yeah, I'd love to grab that thing. It's such a beautiful building. Right there. Double or what? Yeah. They won't talk to anybody.
Who's in there?
That's some family has been there forever.
Oh, yeah.
So you tell by the curtains, they've been up forever, too.
Yeah, and the carpet on the front porch.
Mm-hmm. It's a sweet house. There's people waiting in line for that one. It's going to get hot. I knew it. And I'm going to sweat. I hate to sweat. These are halfway houses on either end. Still haven't given up their hold to the neighborhood. The last of the few. This, that, and that, you know. It takes care of that block, you know. Let's move down the next block. That idiot that owns that one on 21st and Brighton, that big, beautiful thing that won't say, I'm not selling. But, oh well. He too shall pass, and that may be the only way it sells, so.
The scientific rationale for tyranny has always been attractive to elites because it creates a convenient excuse for treating their fellow man as lower than animals. Robert Thomas Malthus, famous for saying that a mass food collapse would be helpful because it would wipe out the poor. His fictional scenario would later be called a Malthusian catastrophe. Malthus is important because his ideas led to the rise of a new scientific field that would dominate the course of human history for the next 200 plus years.
I find it just crazy. You know, and it's very heart-wrenching. You hold a door for somebody, like I said, I have a man on my floor. You hold the door for him and his son, 2 years old, and maybe the other boy 6. I held the door 5 minutes, the elevator door. And he lives on the same floor as me. Do you know he did not even say thank you, and I'm your neighbor, and this is what you teach your children? But when you're around your other Caucasian friends, now you feel comfortable here because there's more coming in the neighborhood. You don't say anything to me. He doesn't even know my name. And this is how you start dividing people. Well, daddy don't speak to this black woman, so why should I? And his boy is not afraid of black people because he's born little. You know, you learn racism. You learn that. And like I said, that's what I don't like, what's going here in the neighborhood. Okay, I've been to Park Slope. My sister lived there for several years. It's different. New Yorkers are different. I don't know where the bulk of these Caucasian people are coming from. I really don't. But they're not nice. They're not nice. They might have the money, but the spirit that dwells in them is not a nice spirit at all. And sooner or later, it's going to be some friction up here. It grieves your heart. It grieves your heart. It ain't about no gentrification. They trying to put, all out. Because ain't nobody putting me out. My apartment's bought for, paid for. I ain't like them got a mortgage, okay? It's paid for, and I'm not moving nowhere, okay? I'm not moving nowhere. But you can't just come in here with this spirit that you have of, like you are so superior. That's all. I know you ain't got all that on there, honey.
The Bloomberg administration, Speaker Quinn, the City Council, and the EDC have done every possible thing they could do to help a developer make a buck in New York City.
If you don't like wealthy people or successful profit-making businesses, you're not going to have a city. We want to attract those people here. That's where we get the money to help those who are less fortunate.
The wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all.
What? Speak. I can't. Must. It's our only hope.